No. All right, welcome everyone. It's nice to see so many people here for our event. All roads lead to the mainframe. We have the situation that nowadays there is a huge need for mainframe personnel, and people wonder how to gain the best possible skills for that job. So we'd like to provide you with some options so you have an overview about the different paths and answer all your questions about mainframe education that you may have. My name is Sabina. I'm originally from Austria. I currently study a Bachelor of Computer Science in Germany at a distance learning university, and I'm based in Bahrain in the Middle East. I'm also a Z student, C System Student Ambassador Captain. And with me is Devonte. Hello.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Sabine, and hello, everyone on the call. My name is Devonte Hawkins. I'm an IBM Z System Ambassador Captain going on for my third straight year. I'm also a computer science major at Albany State University here in the United States. And I will be joining IBM this August as an incoming tech sales engineer. Happy to be here.
And the speakers, we have here Wolfram Greis, we have Linda Blundell and Darren Search. Would you please introduce yourself as well?
Yeah, of course. My name is Wolfram Greis. I work on mainframe since more than 40 years. And I think since 35 years ago, I began to also teach mainframe stuff. And in 2008, I founded the European Mainframe Academy, a commercial company doing education and bringing new talents to the mainframe. In between, we founded an academic mainframe consortium to bring also the mainframe stuff to universities and other academic institutions. Yeah, and glad to be here, and thank you for inviting me, Sabine.
My pleasure. Thank you for coming.
Who's going next?
Yeah, you go next.
Yeah.
We go in order.
Good evening, everyone. I am Linda Blundell. I am a lecturer at the Ghent University of Applied Sciences, or Dutch, how it's pronounced here in Belgium. And I'm mainly teaching mainframe courses, and that's also why I'm here.
Thank you very much, Linda.
And g'day, my name's Darren Search. I'm CEO of IntoSkill Learning. IntoSkill does e-learning, so online mainframe training that most of the corporations and organizations around the world that run mainframes use to train their internal personnel. We deliver somewhere around 1 million hours of mainframe training globally annually. So it's widely used in the industry for that lifelong learning. I'm an Aussie, obviously, based here in the US, and have been working with IntoSkill for 30 years now. So thank you, Sabina, for the invite today, and Devonte.
Thank you very much for coming. So we have a lot of mainframe experience here. I'm glad to see that. And maybe Darren, let's start with you. You already mentioned IntoSkill provides online learning. How can you briefly explain how you teach that? Is it online courses? How does it work with IntoSkill?
Yeah, IntoSkill, we're a mainframe company, so mainframe is all we do, and all of our subject matter experts and developers and so forth are mainframers or of mainframe heritage. So we sort of get how the mainframe industry likes to train. So our courseware, our resource of training that these corporations use that run mainframes, we try and make it multimodal and use all sorts of innovative ways. So the core of it, I suppose, is a couple of thousand hours, about 250 mainframe topic courses that are e-learning. So they're courses that you'll log on to the learning management system and just start through the courses. They'll teach you with text and diagrams and simulated systems and activities and interactive coding and all of that sort of stuff. But we also blend that with hands-on labs that people can do in a sandbox on their own mainframe system. There's skills assessment. There's expert videos, which are really cool, like TED Talks. We have mainframe industry experts speaking about their topic of interest on videos, and you can listen to those. There's all sorts of other stuff as well. And obviously we work very, very closely with IBM and the IBM badge program. So there are well over 100 IBM skills badges that can be earned for doing the IntoSkill training. Also the new IBM professional certificates, which are benchmark skills for job roles, which are very, very cool. So as a corporation, mainframe employees at corporations will just either log into their corporate learning management system and access all of these courses throughout the year. We should be training all the time, lifelong learning, and or log into the IntoSkill learning management system at intoskill.com and access the courses that way and earn the badges and so on and so forth. I hope that wasn't too long-winded.
No, it was very good. Thank you. And Linda, so you teach university course. Can you give us a brief overview how that looks like?
Yes, of course. Well, it's like a specialization that many of our students can do, like in the last year of our bachelor's program. So it's kind of specifically how we teach it. So we have like a combination between learning it at school and at mainframe customers, at companies. So it's called work-based learning. It's like the goal of that is in fact to close the gap between what you learn at university and what's been used at companies, because obviously companies use different subsystems. It would be a pity if we spend all this time teaching our students COBOL and then they go to a company that has PL1, for example. So that's the way how we work, and it's been really successful for the students. They really like to be involved so quickly with the industry, and the same what we see with those companies. So that's one part. So everyone can follow that, not only students at our university, but also like according to a micro degree, it's called something new. So even employees can follow that. Students who were specialized in something else, they can also do that after their previous specialization.
Very interesting. Thank you.
Wolfram. So the European Mainframe Academy offers a very unique seminar which trains managers for doing like mainframe architecture. So why do you want to train managers who actually don't work with the mainframe, or how do you go about doing that?
I think the most managers we teach, and this is one of the exceptions we have, that we do a 3-day class face-to-face with managers. And these managers normally have mainframes in their company, but don't have too much knowledge about it. It's the same problem that is anywhere in the mainframe environment. There are a lot of people working in their companies, but don't know that they have a mainframe. And if they have one, they don't know what are the characteristics of the mainframe and what are the advantages of using a mainframe. And that's why we do really very successful also teach managers to tell them the advantages and the challenges with the mainframes, also the cost discussion, of course. And yeah, but it's only a very, very small part of our education. So our main part of education is that we bring young people to the mainframe. So we do it on a blended learning basis. So we, when we started our company in 2008, the European Mainframe Academy, we started directly with blended learning. Means that we don't did too much face-to-face activities. We did some in the past before the pandemic, but we from the start on we did a lot of e-learning, and e-learning means in our case that it's very intensively coached. So in the past, when we had the face-to-face courses and the duration of 1 day, in our case, expands to 1 week. And twice a week, we meet with our attendees and discuss the things they did in between. And all these activities are very steered by assignments. So they get assignments where I stated, look at the videos A, B, and C, answer the following questions, do the lab A to do also real stuff on the mainframe. And yeah, that's how we work, and we do it very successfully. And during pandemic, we had no problems at all, because it's fit perfectly, because yeah, we do blended learning and a lot of online education.
Awesome. And Darren, this next question is for you. So as you said in your introduction, IntoSkill has so many different courses. So how would you sort of say to someone new to Mainframe should go about starting that course, or would you say tailor it to best fit your career goals and what exactly you want to do with mainframes?
Fantastic question. Yeah, the industry's an amazing community for the training. So there's obviously universities that train people up, and there's apprenticeship programs, and IBM's got an enormous amount of training for people to, and programs like the Z Ambassadors and so forth, for people to get introduced to mainframe and get a start and get interested and start their careers. The part that we play is, again, with corporations, which is another great part about the mainframe industry. This is in-depth stuff. You've got to be smart to be a mainframer. You've got to know a lot, and corporations back that. Corporations know how critical these mainframe systems are to their organization, and so they train and they train and they train and they train. And lifelong learning is part of everybody's career these days. You can't just do your initial training and then expect to keep using those same skills for the rest of your career. You need to keep adding and learning new things and so forth. So back to your question, our courseware is divided up. These wonderful e-learning courses are like Lego blocks. You can put them in any order and make them into anything you want. So we have all sorts of purpose-built learning paths, roadmaps, for different job roles. So if you're a trainee computer operator, you would have a set path of courses to follow, and assessments and videos and all sorts of other things to do. If you're a system programmer, again, you can start as a trainee or move up into more advanced stuff, application development, programming, security, database, storage, you name it. All of these things are grouped. So a lot of people will follow those learning plans. Those are designed to be, again, on a corporate level, blended in with coaching and mentoring. And this is a critical part for any of you out there listening to this. If you're into your mainframe career, find a coach or a mentor. Talk to some of the Z Ambassadors, get involved in some of the communities and IBM communities, or on LinkedIn. Find some of the senior mainframers, the IBM Champions maybe. They will connect you, but find yourself a mentor, or to help you with your career, tell you what courses you should be doing, introduce you to the right people, give you ideas of where you should be heading with your career and so forth. So Devonte, my apologies, I've sort of roamed off out amongst the weeds here with this answer, but I think it's important to say, as well as following these learning paths or selecting IBM badges, which is what a lot of people do these days. So they'll pick a badge that they want to have on their LinkedIn profile, a Cobalt programming badge or a ZOS badge or whatever else it is, and earn that, and then pick another badge and go through the courses and earn that. So this is part of the way you can sort of direct your training. But I think it's critical that we take advantage of the experience and knowledge and backstory and funny stories and connections and everything that senior mainframers have before these senior mainframers retire. If you're going into a mainframe career, connect with, find mentor or multiple mentors among senior mainframers, and find out about the industry and the things that they know, and get connected and so forth. That'll really help your mainframe career, and it's enjoyable as well. I mean, this is a wonderful community. You'll get to make friends that you'll have for life through coaching and mentoring. So as well as your structured training, please find yourself a mentor or more than one.
Yeah, I think oh, yeah, no worries. You were fine, Darren. I think that, it definitely is important to, find a mentor, but then also focus on the training. I know that in the Z Ambassador program, we actually have free access to IntoSkill, and then also IntoSkill is free for university students. I know that Sabine and I have our fair share of badges, and we're always on the platform just, learning and gaining new skills. So that way we can become, lifelong learning. So just like you said, it doesn't just stop once you stop learning. You have to keep going and continue to evolve, because technology is always evolving. So you always have to keep up with the current times. So so I definitely do like the fact that you add in becoming a lifelong learner, and then also finding a mentor, which is also important.
And we are, just to follow up on that, we are, as I said at the start, we are Mainframe. Mainframe's all IntoSkill does. So as you mentioned, Devonte, we love to donate our courses to things like Z Ambassador and various other universities and so on and so forth. It's important for us to see this next generation of mainframers coming up and to get as excited about the mainframe as we are. Again, IBM's got a lot of free content as well, and we chip in and donate our stuff to a lot of fantastic groups. But it's important. All of the people on this call know. I mean, we all go above and beyond what we normally do for business. We do extra stuff all the time just to lift the industry and bring on that next generation of mainframers.
That's where I think I can also add something, especially to this subject, because to attract new talents for the mainframe, we need a holistic approach, not just the view of one company, of an education company. We need to get all the stakeholders to the table. So Absolutely. That's why we founded in Germany the non-profit Academic Mainframe Consortium. It's a non-profit, and it's a community where our members are universities, students, mainframe users like Atruvia and T-Systems in Germany, and vendors like IBM, but not just IBM, also BMC and Beta Systems and others. So we can also teach not just mainframe IBM products. We can also use products from the vendors that are interested in teaching them. And supporters are also members, consulting companies, business partners, very important. Just come to that in 1 minute, and educators like us. And with this non-profit, we got mainframes at 3 universities in Germany and 1 in Switzerland, and got them donated from our customer members. And they got installed from a business partner in Germany, and from IBM and the IBM Academic Initiative. We get all the licenses for the COS and all the subsystems, and as I already mentioned, also from other vendors. And this is a really, really good thing. And in between, we also did some activities. As example, we organize a Young Talents Mainframe Convention once a year. It was last year in the IBM Böblingen lab, and we have around between 60 to 80 attendees on these events. And we also set up a Young Talents Mainframe community where we meet once a month for experience exchange. And although there are not just young people there to discuss, we have also experienced people to get some information around and over. It's a very good idea. So our Academic Mainframe Consortium is really a good idea to bring all the stakeholders to the table and discuss what can we do to attract new talents for the mainframe, to the mainframe.
It's always great to see that support in the mainframe community. I mean, like you mentioned, Darren, with mentoring, everybody is very happy to help out. Wolfram, the support from the companies to the universities. It's just great to see the spirit in the mainframe community. I love it. And we have one question in the chat. And by the way, if anybody else has questions, please put it in the chat or raise your hand. We're happy to have that answered. So there is a question: in Saudi Arabia, there are no IBM Z courses in any university. Lindert, how is it with your program? Is the program open to anyone? Is it restricted to certain nationalities, citizenships, or can someone from Saudi Arabia join as well?
It's definitely open for the whole European Union, that's for sure. I'm pretty sure it's also open for more than just Europe, but I think it's just a higher price that you'll pay for the courses, but everyone can join basically.
Oh, that's great news. Mm-hmm. Thank you. We're also going to share the links to IntoSkill, to Hogand, to the Academic Mainframe Consortium afterwards, so you can check it out, and maybe you can join the course there. Thank you.
And if I could add something as well, IBM has for 20 years put in amazing amount of effort into speaking with universities and providing universities with mainframe resources and visiting lecturers and all of this sort of stuff. So if you are in a part of the world that has universities that don't have mainframe, try and connect with IBM. Sabina or Devonte will be able to connect you with the people that do the Academic Initiative and the Ambassador Program and so forth. It's right where they live. They can speak to people at IBM and have them reach out to the universities and start talking to them about maybe having a mainframe track at that university if there's enough students that are interested. So just because you're in a part of the world that doesn't have that at universities, don't let that stop you. Reach out to the IBM community, the mainframe community, and we can get IBM involved with that. And I know IBM will really push it if they can.
Mm-hmm. And that's also what we are trying to do. We also know that not a lot of universities run the mainframe curriculum, and it's really important for every single country to have at least one university that teaches that. And it's not the case, and that's a pity. And it's difficult for universities to teach their trainers mainframe skills. And so what we're trying to do is offer everything online. So you don't have to go to Belgium, to Ghent to follow mainframe courses. But everything you can do online, no matter what time zone you are. Everything is also recorded. Everyone can follow it. That's really important. And we also use Darren IntoSkill, thanks to you. And I think I cannot express enough how important that is, because mainframe has the perception of being old just because it exists already for such a long time, and there exists a million of old course books. Also, if you want to learn GCL, for example, sometimes you get a course of GCL from the 70s thrown at you, and that's absolutely not attractive. IntoSkill is attractive. My students used it, and they of course know everything from the most recent technologies, and they have also really good courseware of that. If I will start with courseware of GCL of 70s, they would walk away, but they're really, really impressed with how it's built up. So I think that's really important also to counter that perception, because mainframe is amazing. It's one of the most sophisticated platforms on this planet.
This is true. Well said. And thank you for your kind words. I appreciate that.
Yes, very good, Leonard. And I have another addition to the modern mainframe, because many customers use them not as modern as the mainframe in fact is. As example, to attract new people, you don't need to teach them mainly in these days TSO, ISPF, JCL, and so on. That's not necessary to teach them that. You can have access to the mainframe with Visual Studio Code, where all the young people are accustomed to. In between, very new, you can also use IntelliJ to access the mainframe. And we have all these products and stuff installed on our mainframe and do education with it. We have new languages. As example, in my opinion, on mainframe environments, Java will replace COBOL in the future. So we need young people who know Java. You have to teach them COBOL to do migration things. We have Python on the mainframe in between, replacing, as example, Rex for automation. Yeah. Rex is not a bad language, but nobody knows Rex, and everybody knows Python. There are already automation tools where you can have directly access to mainframe data sets and so on. And the young people are very fast to accept these ideas and accept the mainframe. It's really amazing how they get really very fast into production if you have the right tools. If you teach them TSO, ISPF, JCL, also not bad, but you need a lot of time to teach them all this stuff, and also combine Linux and COS and all the ideas coming up with DevOps on the mainframe and Ansible as a tool. These things are all available on the mainframe. and the young people get really very, very fast in also in the productive environments when you give them the right tools. And I remember one statement of Andy Bates from the UK lab in Hursley on a share conference many years ago. In between, Endo unfortunately died, but he made a statement on one of the events, share events: hire young people and learn from them as least as much as you teach them. And I think this is also important, that you bring the experienced mainframe people in touch with the young people and do information exchange, experience exchange. That's very important. Hi Herb, nice to see you. Herb Daly is also in the
UK.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are really good points, Wolfram. I mean, your .NET programmers and C programmers and Java programmers, all these youngsters can code on the mainframe in the languages that they know and love. You know, using Kubernetes and GitHub, and you know,
and use
modern
the
programmers
interface,
are.
and use the
Zoe's
interface
been a revelation, and there's another resource as well, the Open Mainframe Project and Linux Foundation. They are doing wonderful work in the industry. So the mainframe can be as young and as cool as the next generation of programmers and systems people. Linda, though, I do agree. That they still have to have some knowledge of JCL and COBOL and Rex and all of these sorts of things. These are among our top completed courses every year, because there are billions of lines of COBOL code and old code PL1, as you mentioned before, that are existing in these corporations, as well as their modern programming languages and so forth. They need to have an understanding. They need to be, the word is polyglot. They need to be multiple languages to be able to be a really versatile mainframer in today's industry. And that's
yeah, just to sort of add to that point is that at my university, they have a start off with Java, and Java is a very easy language to get into. Of course, if you know, you learn it at a pace in which you can understand the language, understand the syntax, and then also depends on, you know, the instructor. But right now I'm also learning Cobalt and on IntoSkill actually, and Cobalt is very English-like, so it is actually easy to learn. So I think that just being versatile, you know, in different languages, from Java to Python to Cobalt to Rex to all these different languages are used on the mainframe. So you don't have to worry about like, oh, well, what if I don't know Cobalt? You can actually go out there and learn on IntoSkill and read books. So, you know, there's someone used to tell me this a long time ago, but they said that but the saying goes, there's like a million ways to not do something. There's also a million ways to do something. And just by taking, you know, that step and just investing in and learning about it is the first step.
And I think from your career perspective as well, if you're, there's, you know, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of Java programmers and .NET programmers and C programmers and so forth out there. But if you add COBOL and PL1 and JCL to that, suddenly you're in this very small group of a couple of thousand people that have skills that the big corporations of the world desperately want. So you've suddenly moved right to the top of the queue as far as getting hired and or getting promotions and or moving into better job roles because of these extra skills that you have, because the mainframe is the core of global business. It's like 80+% of the world's financial transactions run through mainframes. Somewhere near 90% of the world's business data sits on mainframes. So just picking up these mainframe languages as skills immediately sits you at the top of the list of the people that corporations are going to be looking for. So they're really absolute gold in your resume as you move on in your career.
I think Darren, you just answered the question, why mainframe perfectly, because that's essential, because every single person, everyone here in this call is unique, but the thing that's not unique is your skill set.
Yes.
I mean, if a lot of people know Java, but I mean, imagine a job interview or an opening, and how many people apply for that opening Java developer? A lot. Will the best one get the job? Probably not. Just the best one who can sell himself. But there are other skills. But if you add something, a unique skill, some mainframe skill, for example, you just are so making your skill set so much more unique, and you get into opportunities, into jobs, but also if you already landed the job, internal opportunities will be much more if you have that skills.
Yeah, agreed.
I also kind of want to address this question in the chat, and it is, what's the best way to set up a mainframe mentor? And I would say just by reaching out to industry-led experts such as Darren, Leonard, and Wolfram here, and then also me and Sabine, we can also become a mentor. I would say just, you know, there's no shame in trying to reach out and saying like, hey, I'm new to mainframes. I see that you've done a lot of work for, you know, however you know, how many number of years, and like, I want to, you know, become more interested in investing in mainframes. Are you looking for a mentee? Sort of say, just by reaching out to any of the industry-wide experts, and just, you know, starting conversation and getting to know them, getting to know what they do in mainframes, and how you can, you know, start learning about it. I would say that that's probably the best way, and I would say that anyone on this call would be, I'm sure would be, you know, a great mainframe mentor.
Well said. Yeah, look for the IBM Champion program. So there'll be Mainframe IBM Champions. As Devonte said, the Z Ambassador program is run by people that will be glad to find you other senior mainframers as mentors, and or IBMers that would be glad to be mentors. The mainframe community, the mainframe industry globally understands that this knowledge needs to be passed on. No one wants to see it disappear. So we're, as a community, we love helping out up and coming young stars in the mainframe space, and we'll be there for you.
And there was another question, because you just said young stars. Is there also a market for older stars for them in the mainframe community?
In my opinion, it's not a question of age. It's a question of how modern is and how attractive is the knowledge of the people who work with mainframes. I'm by myself. I'm 68 and have no problems at all to understand the young people and teach them also the new stuff. It depends on your mindset and not on the age.
Absolutely. Yeah. IBM works with a company called Franklin Apprenticeships. I know Franklin really pushes, there's, military people that have finished their service and are coming out and looking to get work in the industry. Mums or dads that have had their kids go off to school and they're suddenly looking, after being parents, suddenly looking to get back into careers and so forth, if they have an interest in IT. Mainframe industry is an amazing career. And I think it's important that, as you said, Wolfram, it's important that we get all sorts of different ages because they have different perspectives on things. They solve problems differently. They communicate differently. So it's important for that workforce to not all just be sort of one generation.
They all have to have an open mind.
About working. I like what you said before about working with the youngsters and learning as much from them as they learn from you. I think that's fantastic. Yeah.
There's another question in the chat I see. Is C9 good enough to start an IBM Enterprise Computing curriculum? I think not really. But I think if it comes to education at a university or other academic institution, I think there are better ways to use a machine than a C9, because all this modern stuff we just mentioned, I think it will not run on a C9. We have the problem now at Leipzig University that we have a C12, and it's not good enough to install COS 2.5. So at the moment, we are just installing a new machine at the Tübingen University, a C13, also from a customer of IBM, and then we can install COS 2.5. So in my opinion, especially to get young people attracted for the mainframe, we need current versions, we need current hardware, and we need current operating systems with all this stuff we already mentioned. C9 is not good enough in my opinion. You could do the teaching with TSO, ISPF and so on, but that is not the future.
I see a question in the chat from Jenal, who has 9 years of experience in the mainframe, but had a 7-year break. Maybe I think there is one good learning opportunity that we have not covered yet. Devonte, maybe you can talk a bit about the IBM C Explorer, which I think is a good way to get up to speed again with the current developments.
Awesome. So thanks, Sabine. And yes, to sort of answer your question, IBM Z Explorer is actually built for from the ground up for training people that are interested in mainframes. So I'm going to share my screen and show you guys the IBM Z Explorer Learning platform. All right. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Is everyone able to see? Awesome. Awesome. So this is IBM Z Explorer. And IBM Z Explorer is sort of broken up into 3 different parts. You have the fundamentals and concepts, which is where you'll learn JCL, work with data sets. You'll learn about COBOL, Rex, Python, and all the different fundamentals of different tools that are used on mainframes. And then with the concepts badge, you'll learn more about uptime, system programmers, enterprises, and all those sorts of things that come part of concepts. And then advanced is sort of where you sort of continue off from what you learn in fundamentals. So you learn a lot more about JCL data. Well, you learn even more about JCL data sets. You do another COBOL exercise. You also get to work with DB2 and Linux on a mainframe system. And then also there are like other challenges as part of extended challenges. So right now they have this ZTPF challenge available that you can work on. So they're always working to update new features on IBM Z Explorer and keep things current and fresh with the current mainframe skills that you can learn right now. And then also there is a forum here. So like let's say you get stuck on a challenge, you can most likely it probably has already been solved by one of the team members over at IBM, but you can definitely ask questions, and if people that have already completed the challenge can go and help you with it, so you don't have to feel alone in it. And the way that you access the mainframe is that you access it remotely through the IBM Z Open Editor and Zowie, and then you just connect right onto the mainframe, and then there you go. And there is a special link that Sabine, I think we can put this in the chat that we can share, but when you sign up for IBM Z Explorer, so you would see this homepage, and you just go ahead and sign right up for it, create a new account, and then you'll be taken to the IBM Z Explorer homepage. And if you click on the Ambassador Referral tab here, you can type in Sabina's either Sabine or me in the chat box and actually get points for just referring us as ambassadors. And this is a really great initiative to get more people signed up for IBM Z Explorer. So I would say that if you definitely are interested in learning and gaining new skills that you can't necessarily get right now with like current that's like really current, then check out IBM Z Explorer. And then also Sabine and I, and I'm pretty sure the people on this call have also completed our concepts and advanced badges. So, you can definitely reach out to us for help if you get stuck on anything. But it really is a great platform where you can have access to all different types of mainframe skills in one place. Like you don't have to go looking in other websites or go to other sources. But it is a really cool platform.
Yeah, and there are other resources as well from IBM. For instance, there is a cybersecurity learning path. It's called Enterprise Nights. So they cover managing access and logging, authentication and system integrity, resiliency, encryption, data privacy. So you can also take that course to see what's new. And there is also from IBM a COBOL programming with VS Code course. I'm going to share the links here in the chat. I'm going to share them as well by the end of the talk too, so you can copy them and have a look at that.
If I can maybe go back to the IBM Z Explorer, it's an awesome tool. If you're interested in what that black box mainframe is, you can start with that now, today, right after this call, and you can immediately start with that. Awesome. Most of my students that end up in my courses did that before and got really interested and wanted to do more. This is like amazing. You can do it at all times. It's really, I would say, go for it, everyone.
And this is modern mainframe as well. You're connecting from your laptop or your PC and actually playing around on a mainframe and doing exercises and mixing with other peers and so forth. It's a whole lot of fun. Really well done by IBM, I got to say.
And then also you have like and then also you have the opportunity to win, swag. So with each challenge you can you get points and you can redeem those points for swag. So it really is a great, incentive opportunity to jump right into mainframes. Okay, you can go ahead, Wolfram.
There's also a question in the chat. How do I get outside of the C Explore sandbox in the IBM environment? And it's really possible if you know how to do it. So you can also have access to the C Explore environment with the 3270 emulation, and then you have ISPF access to all the stuff on the mainframe. You can go to DB2 and work with Spoovy. You can give in TSO commands and RACF access and so on. Of course, you don't have the the authority to go into the deep RACF environment, but you have all the possibilities to work with the mainframe. If you know how to do it, you just have to know the port number, and I think this is 623. So with the IP address and port number 623, you can have access to the mainframe and can directly work with TSO, ISPF, and all the stuff that is available. And I was really astonished what really is available. You can really do many things on the C Explore environment. The machine where C Explore is running. You can work with SDSF. You can have a look on the console if you know how to do it. So you can really do a lot of stuff on this environment if you know how to do it.
Thank you very much for those tips. That's the first time I heard that. That was a really nice one. Thank you. Because I heard that question several times already as well. But you also mentioned Java before, and I know people are talking about modernization, which doesn't mean to move away from the mainframe, but maybe to modernize the programs, move them from COBOL to Java. And I know some people are wondering where can I best learn about translating COBOL programs into Java? Is it good to be a Java programmer and start maybe with a COBOL programming course of IBM, or what would be your recommendation there?
We have a commercial offering for this, because we have really a teacher who knows both worlds, and I think this is really important to get people up and running. It's not the best way if you have a COBOL programmer to teach them Java with a Java teacher who don't know COBOL at all, and vice versa. And I think it's really important to have a teacher who knows both worlds and can bring the discussion and the worlds together. This is really important in my opinion. But this is a commercial offering from our company. I think you don't get any online or course. Of course, it's not bad if you know Java to learn COBOL, but I don't know if you afterwards are really able to do productive work on the mainframe without further coaching.
Thank you. I see Herb is not very happy about Java.
Herb's making some great comments there. Yeah. I think if you're just as a tip, if you're a university student and you're doing your degree in IT, and as a programmer, even on systems, you really should, don't just focus on one system if you're a systems person, or don't just focus on one programming language if you're a programmer. Try and learn a breadth, because IBM talks about the hybrid cloud. Most corporations will have multiple systems that all work together, and you really have to know a lot these days. Back to my point, as a tip, don't underestimate how hungry corporations are worldwide for new mainframe talent. corporations worldwide are seeing, some of the senior mainframers are retiring and they need to replace them with the next generation. So they're really looking hard for anybody who's interested in a mainframe career and or has mainframe skills. So earn those IBM badges and put them on your LinkedIn profile so that everyone can see you've got mainframe skills. But corporations that have a mainframe will do internships. So if you're a student and connecting with the mainframe community, people like the Z Ambassador group and so on and so forth, they'll put the word out for you. There's corporations that are approaching IBM all the time saying, where can I find people? Where can I find university graduates that are interested in the mainframe career? Can you point me to any of them? So get involved in the community and have a little bit of mainframe skill. And these corporations will bring you in for internships. You can do a summer internship. You'll get to play on the mainframe. You'll get to work with some of their senior mainframers. You'll get a much better feel for the mainframe environment and a career and so forth. And then it's just all jumping ahead. So don't think that you've got to somehow knock on doors and try and find a job. The mainframe industry is just desperate, not desperate, but the mainframe industry really wants people at the moment, and they're out there and looking. So if you put your hand up and show, hey, I've got some mainframe skills and I'm interested in a mainframe career, they'll jump up and say, yeah, come on over. We'll look after you and give you internships and help you out and so on and so forth. And that's enough to say without committing for any of these corporations, but it's what I've seen in the industry globally, is that you'll be in high demand and they'll do whatever they can to help you both train and get access to the mainframe and connect with other mainframers and so forth.
Awesome.
I've left everyone speechless.
Darren, quick question. I'm not sure if you can tell me this as you're the CEO of IntoSkill, but I believe you may have some insight on this. But are there any mainframe courses that are being planned for the future that you can kind of hint us about, mainly, let's say, for example, hardware or quantum computing or AI or ML? You got any courses coming up on those?
Yeah, I mean, as far as IntoSkill goes, yeah, we keep all of our courses up to date. So the new hardware course is actually coming out next month. So you're reading my mind, so that'll be a cool one. But we keep all of the courses up to date with the latest versions. Again, people like Wolfram and Linda are keeping up to date with all the latest versions and so forth, and keeping their courses vibrant and new. The IBM stuff, I mean, your Z Explorer was only just rewritten last year. So from the old master, the mainframe, it's now Z Explorer, and it's got a lot more really modern stuff in there as well. And Mr. Daly there on camera runs a fantastic program at his university as well. So there's new stuff out there, and it has to be as well. To Wolfram's point before, mainframe courses aren't old ISPF and COBOL programming anymore. There are a lot more modern stuff in there as well. That stuff's important, but you have to bring all the newest, sexiest, most interesting stuff in to get everybody interested and excited and learning. So I hope that answers you.
It did. It did. I read your mind. That's how I knew.
Yeah, we've got some cool. There's a new Python course coming out next month as well, because that's in such demand. I'm trying to think what else there is. There's funnily enough, there's a new expert video series. Sorry to make this into an ad, but this new expert video series is on quantum computing. As far as I can see, IBM's quantum is going to be part of the hybrid cloud and used for best purpose for a lot of computing that traditional computing can't handle. So that's a really cool thing to learn about as well, and sort of a little tangent to your mainframe career perhaps, but quantum is pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, I just want to say that every time I do a workshop, people always ask me, like, how can I learn more about the hardware, learn more about how quantum plays a role in the new Z16 system, or all these amazing new current features that everyone's just excited to get their hands on. I now know that I can definitely point them to IntoSkill, and I just want to shout out to Dusty's comment. The mainframe does absolutely rock.
Sure does. Dusty Rivers is one of only 2 lifetime IBM champions, and he's on the call there somewhere. I see his comments on the chat. So a fantastic guy in the mainframe industry. Just a couple of other things as well. Sorry to monopolize this. A guy called PJ Catalano is one of IBM's head of hardware and testing. Follow him on LinkedIn and Instagram and wherever. He's amazing on social media. He gives all sorts of great insights into the latest and greatest IBM hardware. Fantastic guy. Also last year at the Z16 launch, there was somebody may be able to help me with this. There was a young YouTube IT guy. I can't think of his name at the moment.
Linus Tech Tips.
Linus.
Tech Tips.
There we go. Go to YouTube and find that where Linus goes through and sees the new Z16 and plays with it and tells you more about it and so forth. Really, really interesting, an amazing presenter. Makes it a whole lot of fun, but it'll give you an idea of the sheer awesomeness of the mainframe of the Z16 and the Telum chip and so forth. That's really cool to watch on YouTube.
I've got an answer to Lina from Bulgaria, asks for access on a mainframe. And I think Sabine also answered it. Yes, yeah. If you register for the IBM C Explorer, you get access to the mainframe, and it's not limited. In contrary to the past, it was limited, but I think I have in between. I have an account for C Explorer since 2 years, and it does no longer expire, and you can do a lot of stuff on this environment. It's no problem at all in between.
And there is also an annual student contest, and after the student contest is finished, they put the challenges on the C Explorer for everyone, as far as I know as well. So you always have new content as well, new challenges, new tasks you can solve and play around with the stuff there. Maybe I have one question still. I mean, we have people from basically all over the world here, the speakers from the US, from Europe. Sometimes I hear, okay, in Europe, PL1 is important to know, in the US it's COBOL, or vice versa. Do you have any recommendation there? Is it helpful for a beginner to learn rather COBOL or PL1, or better have an idea about both of it?
Linda, do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, but from my perspective, even in Europe, it's 50-50. I think you should try them out, both of them, and then see. Some really like COBOL, some prefer PL1. It's a really hard one to answer, and I'm not the right person to answer that question. I think you need to try them out both. I think no. It's really difficult to answer for me. I don't know if my other panelists have.
I think Cobalt's probably used a lot more than PL1.
Yeah, I have also an opinion. I think it's not 50-50. It's 80 COBOL and 20% PL1. But it doesn't matter what you learn. If you learn COBOL and afterwards look at PL1, it's very easy, and vice versa. So it's I think it's better to learn one language right and can switch maybe to another than learn both in the same time, just one after the other. And I think it's quite easy. And as example, if we talk about COBOL and PL1, it's mainly used in not mainly, but normally it's used in mainframe environments to have access to transaction systems, to CICS, to IMS, and so on. And there it's very similar. If you do it with COBOL or if you do it with PL1, it's nearly the same. It's just another language, but the interface that you are using to call transactions and to work with transactions and to have access to a database, it's very similar. So it doesn't is a big difference if you use COBOL or PL1.
All right, thank you. All right, Devonte.
All right, so I think that this will be sort of the last question, then we can wrap up this amazing session. And this is for anyone. Do you think that the different paths of training are competing or really complementing each other? Like, how do they work in tandem with one another? Or how do you say, like, oh, well, well, this course is, has a lot more to offer than this course. Can you sort of talk about this? And this is, once again, open to anyone.
I think for getting started in your mainframe career, learning at university and having somebody like Wolfram or Linda to be there with you, or Herb, you know what I mean, to be with you, to help you through, to let you understand, to be hands-on, to speak with you, and so on and so forth. This is phenomenal training and a great way to get started, to get your career going. I think once you are hired, or once you get going in your mainframe career, my only advice is don't stop learning. Keep going, keep going. Make lifelong learning part of your career, and continue to, learn new languages and or new technologies, and make contacts and coaching and mentoring and so on and so forth. This is a sort of an ongoing, vibrant thing. Learn the new technologies and new programming languages and so forth. It opens up a world of opportunities, so you don't have to follow down this one path of a career. Suddenly all of these really cool opportunities will open up for you if you've got these extra skills, or if you've done this bit of extra training, or if you've learned something new. Not only does it give you those extra options, but it helps you do your job better, because you can work with all of the other systems and things that are typically part of a corporate IT, and make you a much more versatile employee as well.
I want to add something, because in my opinion, what is happening at universities and academic institutions is not really the education to work on mainframes. It's just to get young people in touch with the mainframe, and afterwards they are hired by the companies. And that's why we are very interested in getting in touch with universities and getting in touch with young talents, because afterwards they are hired by the companies, and the companies afterwards pays their education, which runs in with our company. It's very, very different. And what we are doing goes much deeper into development, into the transactions with CICS and so on, when we talk about development. And I also saw some comments in the chat concerning system people education. That is not done at universities at all. That has to be done in a commercial environment and paid by the companies who need the stuff. So there's no competition. It builds one of the others. The first step is getting in touch with the university, and the second step is getting a real education for the people to work in the mainframe environments at customer sites.
Of course, it's of course a mainframe career. You're learning your whole career. It would be a pity if it would stop right after university. And of course, at university, you need to be kind of generic. You cannot just only do COBOL, only do PL1, but you need to see a lot of different subsystems. Of course, you cannot see that whole system at one, and it's still an specialization course and not a whole degree in mainframe. So I agree that we are very complementary. I mean, you need to have a basic to start, and then start your career, whether you do it via IntoSkill or via extra courses. You need to be taught much more through your whole career.
Well said. And there was a quick comment. Sorry, I know we're out of time. There's a quick comment in there. The Share organization, Share started up before the mainframe was even invented. I think in the early 60s, the very early days of computing, before the System 360 came out from IBM. And it's still absolutely vibrant as a mainframe user group. So if you're in the US, the Share conferences are absolutely free for students. You can go along and see some amazing sessions and learn from some industry leaders and so forth. GSE, GuideShare Europe in the UK. There's one in Scandinavia, I think. There's various ones around. If you get a chance, if it's in your region, go to a Share conference and you'll learn a lot and meet some great people as well.
Yeah, and the GSE, the GuideShare Europe, it's available. There's one session a year now, which is online. So you have the GSE Europe in person, but you also have the one online, which is also for free. So it's a great way as well to add to knowledge, to learn new skills and to see what's new and connect with people. Yeah, thank you very much. That was very good last words. And in the end, I'd like to share one slide as well. So you have all the links on one place too, and you can take a picture there. So the first one is for the IBM Z Explore. So you can join there online for free, unlimited access. You have the link to IntoSkill, the link to the University of Ghent, to the Mainframe degree, the European Mainframe Academy that Wolfram represented. And this link here, the IBM Z Systems Global Student Hub, you can join there. You can ask your questions, you get in touch with other people there. So we can put the links there as well. So a great resource too. And the two courses I talked about, the IBM Z Systems Cybersecurity Insights and the COBOL Programming with VS Code. And Wolfram also recommended us the Open HPI Mainframe MOOC, which you can access as well online. So I hope those links are helpful for you. We're gonna put up the recording of this session on the IBM Z Systems Ambassador YouTube channel as well. And I thank you very much for being here. Thank you to all the mainframers as well who helped us answering the questions. Thank you for our speakers. It was a great session, great questions. Thank you very much and have a good day to everyone.
Thank you, Sabine and Devonte, for organizing this. Fantastic.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sabine, for having us.
Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.